Alright everybody, so I'm going to show you how to draw a cityscape in 1-point perspective. So you're going to need a pencil. It could be a mechanical pencil, a regular pencil, doesn't matter. An eraser. You could also use the eraser on the end of your pencil if you have one. And of course, a ruler. So a ruler doesn't matter, any kind of ruler, it doesn't have to be special. So you're going to take your ruler and you're going to place it pretty much anywhere on your paper. I decided to kind of put it towards the center, towards the middle of my paper. And we're going to draw a horizontal line. So a line that goes from left to right. Make sure that you hold your ruler nice and steady so it doesn't wiggle. So this horizontal line is our horizon line. And so what a horizon line does is it separates the ground from the sky. Okay? And since we're working in 1-point perspective, we're going to have to draw one vanishing point. It can be anywhere along your horizon line as long as it's on your horizon line. So I decided to put mine somewhere towards the center, draw it nice enough or big enough so that you can see it. We want to make sure that we know that this is our vanishing point. I went ahead and I labeled mine. You don't have to label yours if you don't want to. So you can put anything on your paper so long as everything vanishes into that one point. So I went ahead and I sped up my video just for time purposes. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a rectangle. So I used my ruler. If you have a ruler, use your ruler. You don't have to measure out each edge. You don't have to measure out and make sure everything's perfect. So long as your lines are nice and parallel and straight, it'll look really, really nice. Okay? So now that I have my rectangle, this is going to be the face of my building. So when we work in 1-point perspective, everything that we draw, we end up seeing the flat face or the flat surface of that object. Since we're doing buildings, it's going to be pretty easy because they're all squares and rectangles. Okay? So now we want to make sure that all of our edges or all of our sides, all of our points basically connect into this vanishing point. So we're going to use our ruler and we're going to draw what we call vanishing lines. And so basically all this does is it takes our object and it connects it to our vanishing point. That's why they're called vanishing lines. Okay? Make sure again that it connects to your point, not to the top of your point, not to the bottom of your point, but like to the center of your point, somewhere within that little dot. We connected the top, so now we're going to connect the bottom. Okay? So these are our vanishing lines where it shows us how our building vanishes into our vanishing point. So, since we have the face, we want to draw the side of our building. So we don't want our building to look like it goes on forever. So we're going to draw a parallel line. And what I mean by parallel means that it is a line that is an equal, like, angle. So if we have our ruler angled in any way where it intersects at some point with our building, it's going to cross, and we don't want it to cross. We want them to be side by side. So the line has to be parallel to the side of our rectangle. So I went ahead and I drew my parallel line. Make sure that the parallel line stays within like your vanishing line area. And this becomes the side of our building. I went ahead again and I labeled it. Again, you don't have to label it. Eventually you'll end up adding like little details. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our eraser. You can use the one on your pencil, or you can be like me and you can use the big eraser. Since there is a lot of erasing in 1-point perspective, we're just going to erase the vanishing lines that are on the outside of our building. So again, I sped up my video just for time purposes, but make sure you don't erase your vanishing point. You can even erase the horizon line that goes through your building. So that way you don't get confused. If you erase any part of your building, just make sure you retrace it so we can see it. So this building here is on the horizon line. We're going to draw a second one that's here below the horizon line. So unbeknownst to me, I had actually started drawing my paper too low out of the camera view that you can't really see where I start drawing the bottom of this second building. But as you can see, it kind of like comes up into your view. Again, you're just drawing another rectangle or another square. Make sure everything's parallel, everything's straight. Use your ruler to draw your lines. And then just like the first building, we're going to connect all of our points. So if any of your lines, your vanishing lines, are drawn through the face of your building, you technically don't need them. If you need to draw them just so that way it's easier for you to see, you can go ahead and do that, but you don't technically have to. So here, my ruler ended up shifting as I was drawing my vanishing line, so make sure that you hold your ruler nice and straight, and then erase any of those lines that aren't connected to the vanishing point. So if you notice, this second building has 2 vanishing line areas, whereas the first one only had 1. So we're going to start off with the side of the building, again, drawing a parallel line within that vanishing line area, just this first one. Do not go above it into that top one, because that's the top of your building. So here we've drawn the side of this building, and then we need to draw another parallel line that is on top of it. So since our building is below our horizon line, we end up being able to see the top of this building. So again, drawing a parallel line to the top of your building. Remember, if it angles at any way, it's not going to look like a 3D building. So use your ruler and make sure it's parallel where they do not intersect. And this becomes the top of our building. Okay, and then again, erasing the extra vanishing lines on the outside of our building without erasing our vanishing point. And so the rest of this video I kind of sped up so that way you could just see the process of it. I'm adding a third building here next to this first one. And so we don't want the top of this building to be flat with our horizon line. We want it to angle towards this vanishing point. Since we don't technically see the front of this building because it's next to the first one that we drew, we need to have it angled towards the vanishing point. Again, erasing the extra vanishing lines on the outside, erasing the horizon line that's on the inside of our building, and that gives us that side of our building. Okay, so I went ahead and I started just kind of like drawing out what the city would look like, tracing out where the street would be, showing you more or less where the sidewalk would be, adding in the little street. So here I'm actually adding in the sidewalk, and you can kind of actually start to see it as it starts going through the video and starts forming. So here's the sidewalk. And of course I just kind of add the bottom part so we can see where that sidewalk goes around the front of our buildings. And then here I'm going to draw like the street lines. So the street lines is basically the same thing. You start at your vanishing point, it opens up towards the bottom, and then you go through and you draw a couple of horizontal lines going through that little space. Make sure you space them out. And then within each little space, which you don't want to have like the street line, you can go ahead and you can erase it so that it looks like your street lines are vanishing as well. So I'm going to draw a fourth building here that's next to the one on the right that goes up over my horizon line. So I just kind of extended where that back end of that front building is so that we could see where this next side of the building is. And then of course, connecting it to my vanishing point, erasing the horizon line within it. So now we only see the top half of the face of our building. So again, creating the side, making that parallel line, erasing the vanishing lines. Okay, and then if you decide to put little details like this door, please make sure that the top of your door is not flat. It has to be angled towards that vanishing point. So I went ahead and I changed it so that you could see what it actually looks like compared to one that's not. Right? So if the top of your building is flat or the top of your door is flat, that's wrong. It needs to be angled towards your vanishing point. Anything and everything, windows, everything has to be angled towards that vanishing point except for the face of your building. Okay? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video.